Welcome back, veg lovers, to my little garden, and we're in mid-May now. It's the 20th of May, and I want to show you really just today how the garden has progressed, because we're not far off doing some harvesting, which will be a few weeks time. So from what you've seen from the last video, things have come on quite a bit. Next week we've got some rain coming in, which will be welcome for the garden. It'll probably go totally like a jungle by then. But for now, let me just show you what we've got. Well, let's start with the herb patch, shall we? Now, as you can see from last week's plantings, the mint has already started to grow. The basil that looked a bit sad is still looking a bit sad, but it's holding its own, so maybe we'll get that to grow. They've all done really well. They've all grown. The thyme has taken off really, and it won't be long, another week or so, before we'll get some cuttings off these and stick some in the food, in the salads, in a drink or whatever. The strawberries, they have flowered and are now starting to produce fruit. So again, probably another few weeks, if we can get some more warm weather after the rain next week, then that might help to get more strawberries on there. Our self-seeded fennel is looking lovely, big and bushy, and smells gorgeous, so we'll be picking some of that to go into food as well. The other herbs we've got here, I think this needs cutting back because it's going to go to seed. That is the coriander. It's a little bit warm for it at the moment, but it's growing along with the sage. Sunflower hasn't moved at all really. It'll take a little bit longer. And the gorgeous cola plant is still gorgeous and hopefully will grow on. Now, we're not going to get anything off these blueberries this year, as we've said, because it's been repotted and cut, so we're unlikely to get anything off that this year, but still it looks healthy, which is a good thing. The pumpkin I planted last month is okay, and considering it's not really been warming to nighttime temperatures for them, they have managed, well, it has managed to survive. It's got some new leaf growth, so I'm hopeful that that pumpkin will be fine. Now, the raspberry bush, that has flowered and has got fruit starting to develop on this, which I can't wait for. We'll get some lovely raspberries off this, so it won't be long for that fruits. You can get rid of some weeds in the middle of it. Oh, cleavers are not really weeds, are they? They're a useful plant, but I don't want them in the middle of the raspberries. We've even got new leaf growth here as well coming on, so I'm hoping this will be covered in the next few weeks. Now, I planted out the mini aubergines, and so far they're looking okay. The weather hasn't been too bad for those, and I've put quite a bit of straw around some of the plants just to hold in the moisture and also keep them a little bit warmer at night time. The onions and garlic are doing really well. Another few weeks they'll be ready for picking. The small tub with them in is not doing as well, I think, because probably there's less nutrients in the smaller tubs than there are in the larger ones. That's just my guess, because depth wise I don't think that should be a problem, but it may well be. But we're still going to get some decent crops from these. Now, this is one of two courgettes I've got out here. Again, I've covered this with straw just to hold in the moisture and to keep it warm with the cooler overnight temperatures at the moment. And next to it I have got what looks like a couple of cumin that have started to grow. I'm not sure how well that'll do. I might have to plant something else in there, but we'll see. Sugar snap peas are growing really well. I'm hoping it won't be long before they start getting flowers on, so that we can get some sugar snap peas. That would be really nice. Of course we have the pond here. We've got this wonderful cotton grass that is really lovely this year. It's really fluffy and soft. The honeyberries, they are, I think we've still got some under here. There we go. They are nowhere near ripe yet. We've got little ways to go with them. They're not usually the shape of this though. They're usually more rectangular shaped than odd shaped, so they have changed shape somewhat. Must be to adapt to their surroundings. But we never get a great deal off that anyway. The Gunra is looking healthy this year. It hasn't looked very healthy for the last two. This year it's looking really healthy. It just makes a nice backdrop to a small pond. We have got a little lily in this pond as well, so hopefully we get nice little flowers. Oh, this is only a miniature lily, because obviously it's only a miniature pond. These strawberries that you can see at the edge, they were originally in the strawberry planter, and they sort of spread their runners all over the place, and that to get up most of the others. But these will stay here nicely now, so we'll get an extra batch of strawberries that I didn't plant there. The potatoes still doing well. All three of them are doing okay. Another few weeks yet for these to flower. And we've got here the spring onions. We've got, these are the ordinary white ones, and then we've got the red ones. Unfortunately for those, the birds are decimating these more than anything else, because they keep using this for dust baths or dirt baths, so they keep destroying some of them in there. So I'm lucky to get any, really. This parsley was upstairs, but I thought I'd bring it out and just see what happens. And it hasn't really been acclimatised properly, but it is surviving, it is growing, so sometimes you can be lucky that way. The tree's got plenty of apples, so I'm hopeful we're going to have a good crop of apples this year. Looks like a bumper crop again. We had quite a lot last year, but this year looks even better. The fruit actually looks really good this year. I think because we've had such a dry spring, they've really appreciated this warm weather, and obviously more pollinators being out have really done a good job with this. This is the mint that I planted, which is growing really well. Not a problem with that at all. Now I have put out tomatoes. It could be risky because we're not actually out of the frost zone yet, but I planted them anyway. I was just running out of room, they were getting a bit large, so I planted them and put straw around them to try and protect them a little bit more. And here we've got the Perpetual Spinach, which is growing nicely. I'll be able to take some of these leaves shortly, so they will go nicely on my salads. Now those monardas I planted many months ago, I have got some coming through here. It's really difficult to know sometimes when you've got so many other things like weeds around, which is actually a weed and which is a plant, but I'm almost sure those are monardas. I just haven't got any others that have come through with the others, so might be the only monardas we have here. That celery, I mean the rhubarb, sorry, I did cut off that flower. It probably wanted cutting a lot further down, but it's okay. So it's first year, it's doing its thing. Now here we got the other courgette and another two tomatoes. These are the green zebras, I think. Well, one of them is. I think the other one might be the coralic. But I've still got a couple more tomatoes to go out, which are up here, but I've got nowhere to put them yet. I might have one to go in there because I'm waiting for these radishes to actually mature. And they don't seem to be, matured as quickly as I would have thought they would have done for radishes. So I might end up taking some of these out. I'm not a fan of radishes anyway. I just thought I'd try them as a quick crop, but these are not that quick. And I might take them out and plant in my cucumber and my other tomato in there. The lettuce leaves have done really well. I mean, I've already picked quite a lot of this, so I'll be taking this out shortly because I've got beans upstairs that are going to go into this. Now I've planted beans out in this, the black beans, because I thought it would be fine outside just to plant direct. So I'm waiting for those to come through, and I've given them a really nice, really tall frame. I'm expecting them to grow tall, very tall. I mean, in the bottom of the cold frame, that's where I planted those peppers, and I think they're just about starting to get going now. It's taken them a little while, but they're warm enough. They've got the straw to protect them and to retain any moisture. Carrots, what a big disappointment those black nebula carrots were. They never really did anything. I've got, what have I got here then? I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I've got about 6 carrots, which is a bit pitiful, isn't it, really? So really I'm not sure what happened there with those. I planted another small, I hope it's a tumbling tom, because I've done my baskets with tumbling toms, and I've got one left over, and I thought, let's see if I can just put it in the corner here and let it hang down, but we'll have to see if it is a tumbling tom. I could have got it confused with one of the others, but we'll see what happens then. The broad beans, now they're doing really nicely. They're flowering nicely, they're growing well. Again, it won't be long before we get some beans off those. The beetroot failed miserably. I don't know what happened to that, it just never got going at all. So I might just leave that until I grow it in the main bed when the garlic and onions have been pulled out. I'll save this perhaps for some more lettuce leaves or something like that. And my path is nice and clear now, as I've sold the bricks that were blocking it, so I've got a nice path to walk down here. Now that fern I told you on the corner is looking really wonderful, and it does unfortunately sometimes have to have parts of it just chopped a little bit because it does block the path, but it is looking fantastic. I have got other raspberries here. These are cane raspberries that they come back every year anyway, so I'll probably get some raspberries off these as well. They're really nice raspberries. And my rosemary, of course, is always super wonderful. And if we go on here, I've got here, this is a gooseberry. Now, I told you I got rid of the gooseberry bush out of this because it was just overrunning everywhere, and I didn't really want it, and I wasn't really a fan of gooseberries to that extent, so we took them out. But obviously a little bit of it survived, and it's growing back, so I might have to just keep that in check, because it's right next to my black currant that I planted, and that's what I want really more of. And you can see it's got little tiny black currants on it already, which will hopefully develop as the season progresses. And we've got a lot of chives next to it as well. Now just look at the plums. There's absolutely I have never seen so many plums. They even look like grapes, there's that many of them. The whole tree is absolutely covered with them. Whether they'll all survive is another matter. And yes, we have got an aphid problem with them still on the plums, but I keep trying my best to deal with it. But just look, there's just so many. I'm not sure the weight of them could be held on these. I think it's going to be really difficult for all these to survive. I hope they do though, because they're such gorgeous plums. And the same with the figs. We've got quite a few figs on this year, which we always do manage to do well with. So I can see lots of fig chutney turning up later this year. And here, this is the celery that I got upstairs. Now, this is not going to do very well. It's going to die, I think. But thankfully I have got some spares upstairs, which will do, because it's just grown too much and it needed to have been planted up before now, and it's the wrong time for it. So I think I'll have to have the ones from upstairs to replace these with. As you can see in the hanging baskets, I've put in the tumbling toms. They're in that basket, and they're in this basket here. So I'm hoping that we get a few tomatoes off that, and again I'm hoping that it isn't too early for them to go out. There's a little A-frame by the back door. Nothing's happened in the bottom two, which is unusual because it usually does. But the spring onions in this little pot here, they're doing well. It won't be long before they're ready for picking these spring onions. And in the other one, we've still got some lettuce leaves. So at least we've got some things to start picking. So all in all, I think the garden's looking pretty good at the moment. It's got lots of interest in it, lots of things to see, lots of things growing, lots of potential for the year ahead. Next month, hopefully we'll start seeing some crops being taken up, and I will show you hopefully what we get. Thank you very much for watching this short video and seeing how the garden is developing. If you look back to the earlier videos, you'll see how much it's come on since then, and hopefully you'll see how much it will come on next month, especially if we do get a bit of rain. Thanks for watching, veg lovers. See you soon. Bye.